In the world of the magic realm, where magic is revered as a divine gift and determines one's status, Regro Burndead lives with his son, Mash, far from society. One day, as Regro sips his coffee, Mash accidentally tears off the door while entering. Regro panics, but Mash reassures him it's only him. Mash admits he forgot whether to push or pull the door and decided to remove it entirely. He apologizes and promises to fix it, but his repair attempt goes awry, shattering the door. Regro, exasperated, instructs Mash on how to fix it, but the noise of pounding drowns out Regro's voice. Eventually, Regro pours Mash a cup of coffee and asks if he's completed his training. Mash confirms he has, but questions why his training focuses only on physical skills rather than magic. Regro reflects on Mash's unique situation, which is his inability to use magic, and suggests that the reason is a story for another day. As Regro prepares to leave, he reminds Mash to stay home and avoid going to the city alone. Mash agrees, but once Regro departs, he heads straight to the city. There, he observes people using magic for everyday tasks that he can easily accomplish with his hands. Feeling hungry, Mash visits a cream puff shop. When he hands over coins, the shopkeeper is astonished to see them bent and twisted in Mash's grip. Mash apologizes, attributing the mishap to his excitement. The shopkeeper, horrified, notes that such an effect cannot be achieved by merely squeezing the coins. Mash returns the coins to their normal shape, but the shopkeeper's shock escalates, leading him to scream. As Mash takes his order, a gust of wind blows back his hood, revealing his face. Gasps and whispers ripple through the crowd. A man reading the newspaper sees that this year's divine visionary is Rain Ames, a student at Easton Magic Academy, awarded for exceptional magical prowess. The title comes with nobility, 1 billion Lond, and a position at the Bureau of Magic. The man, envious of Rain's fortune, reflects on his own mundane life. His phone rings with a report about an unmarked kid, causing a stir in the city. Mash, distracted by his cream puffs, accidentally bumps into a police officer, smudging his uniform with cream. The officer shouts at Mash, who tries to make amends by offering him a cream puff. The officer becomes even angrier and knocks the cream puff to the ground, demanding Mash do something about his dirty uniform. Mash grabs the uniform and tears it off, saying he'll take it and wash it. Brad arrives and recognizes Mash from the report. Before Brad can ask Mash anything, Regro rushes in, apologizes for his son's actions, and takes Mash away. Brad uses magic to summon a bird and sends it to follow them. Back at home, Regro scolds Mash for causing trouble but sees his remorse. As punishment, Regro instructs Mash to repeat his morning training routine. Mash accepts the punishment. As Mash heads out for his punishment, Regro rushes to the door to open it for him. Concerned Mash might break it again. Regro notices Brad's bird outside and grows worried, realizing the magical police have discovered Mash's presence. Suddenly, Brad, Terry, and other policemen burst through the wall, ready to confront the situation. Mash quickly completes his training and returns to enjoy some cream puffs. At the door, he hesitates, unsure whether to push or pull. He overhears Brad, who knows Regro has been hiding Mash, demanding to know where Mash is. Regro pretends ignorance, but Brad threatens to escalate the situation. As Brad starts to beat Regro, Regro reflects on his past failures and how he contemplated ending his life until he found a baby Mash who had been abandoned for being like him. The baby's smile gave Regro a sense of purpose, leading him to adopt Mash as his own. Desperate, Regro urges Mash to run. Brad realizes Mash must be nearby and orders a search. As Regro's shouts continue, Brad decides to use magic. Mash bursts through the door, punches a policeman, and sends him crashing through the wall. Terry confronts Mash, but Mash quickly rips his uniform and starts slapping him. Regro is shocked by Mash's actions, wondering why he didn't run. Mash explains that Regro is his family, and he will protect him no matter what. Brad questions how Mash plans to defeat him without magic. Terry doubts Mash's chances, noting Brad's experience with the Bureau of Magic security force. Brad boasts that he'll end the fight in 3 seconds and prepares a powerful spell, Null Compass. He unleashes a massive magical ball that causes an explosion, but Mash casually slaps it aside as if it were nothing. Brad, stunned, prepares an even stronger spell, Null Compass Diagoras. Mash easily swats it away as well, and continues to block and juggle the magical balls with ease. Mash grabs Regro's wand and, despite having no magical ability himself, throws it like a spear. The wand pierces Brad's magical shield, leaving a scratch on his face. Brad is taken aback. Mash warns Brad never to threaten his family again or he'll kill him. Brad proposes a deal. If Mash becomes the divine visionary, he and Regro will be free. Brad reveals he desires the prestige and fortune associated with the title. Mash agrees to the deal. At Easton Magic Academy, the entrance examination is difficult, designed to select only those with exceptional magical abilities. Claude Lucci, a powerful magical user, observes this year's candidates. He is shocked to see Mash focusing on physical training instead of using magic. Mash lifts weights and performs an invisible chair exercise while reading a fitness book, rather than studying magic. Regro and Brad, who are trying to remain inconspicuous, catch Claude's attention, but Claude dismisses Mash as a likely failure. Claude reveals himself to the students, who recognize him. He conjures desks with test papers and feather pens, impressing everyone except Mash, who comments that Claude could simply have prepared the room. Annoyed, Claude informs the candidates that the test papers are enchanted and will continuously shift unless they dispel the enchantment and align the questions correctly. Regro and Brad are convinced Mash will fail. Mash examines his test paper and, after commanding the questions to stop moving, crushes the feather pen and orders the questions to stay still. The questions align properly, and Mash hands in his perfectly arranged test paper. His ability to solve the test surprises Claude. Next, Claude conjures a maze filled with traps and dangers. Lemon, a girl from the exam, approaches Mash and asks to team up. She believes working together will be more efficient. Mash agrees and they navigate the maze. Lemon frequently falls into traps and relies on Mash's help. Eventually, Lemon uses Levio's cuffus to put magical cuffs on Mash, claiming she needs to keep him away from the goal. Mash quickly frees himself and continues on his own. A giant sphinx appears behind Lemon, and she tries to fight it with magic, but fails. As the sphinx prepares to attack Lemon, Mash returns and punches it, saving her. Lemon, worried about running out of time, is surprised by Mash's intervention. Claude, watching, is delighted as Mash still hasn't exited the maze. Suddenly, Mash bursts through the maze walls, having punched a direct path to the goal. The other students accuse Mash of cheating and cheer for him to leave. Lemon defends Mash, revealing that she was obstructing him because Claude had promised her passage if she succeeded. Claude, asserting his right as an examiner, decides to fail both Lemon and Mash. Mash reacts by shattering Claude's wand, declaring that Claude has crossed the line. Headmaster Wahlberg arrives and quiets the room, announcing he will oversee the final interviews. He teleports Mash and himself to a grand hall filled with other magic teachers. Wahlberg asks Mash why he chose their academy, to which Mash replies that he wants to live peacefully with his family. Some teachers disapprove, but Wahlberg accepts the answer. Wahlberg then asks if Mash saved a girl in the maze, despite being pressed for time. Mash confirms this. Wahlberg demonstrates his immense magical power by activating a spell that transfers Regro's soul into a doll. Wahlberg warns that if his knife pierces the doll, Regro's soul will be lost forever. Mash attempts to stop the knife by punching it, injuring his arm in the process. He grabs the blade and tries to block it, declaring that Wahlberg cannot maintain the spell indefinitely, and this will be a test of endurance. Wahlberg eventually dispels his magic, apologizes for the harsh test, and welcomes Mash into the academy. Classes begin, and during a lesson on Opti-Ars magic, a technique for opening locks, Mash simply uses his strength to break the lock. The teacher is frustrated, as Mash is supposed to learn and use magic rather than relying on brute force. A boy sitting next to Mash is wary of him. Later, when the boy, Finn, arrives at his room, he finds the door missing. Mash appears, holding the door, and they introduce themselves. Finn starts to reconsider his initial negative impression of Mash. Mash asks Finn about becoming the divine visionary. Finn explains that to achieve this, Mash must collect gold coins through various tests that evaluate his abilities. He can earn gold, silver, or bronze coins based on his performance and must maintain good grades to avoid expulsion. Mash finds the system harsh but is determined to navigate it. Mash asks Finn to lend him a broom for the next day's class, having mistakenly brought a burdock, thinking it was a broom. Finn agrees, astonished by Mash's mix-up. In class, students are taught to ride brooms by channeling magic. While others succeed, Mash fails. A student mocks him, claiming he's slowing everyone down. Mash then uses his strength to make his broom jump into his hand and fly, which the student accuses of being cheating. The teacher announces a speed test, and a student challenges Mash to a race, with the loser agreeing to obey the winner. Despite the teacher's doubt about Mash's ability, Mash finishes the race instantly, leaving his opponent stunned. The teacher declares it's a new world record. Other students are shocked but can't figure out what happened. Finn, however, sees that Mash threw his broom, jumped after it, and used air resistance to land on it. The defeated student, furious, tries to reject the bet, but Mash decides to drop it. Lloyd Cavell, another student, intervenes, apologizing for his friend's rudeness and introduces himself to Mash, asking to be friends. Mash mistakenly overhears Lloyd's name as Spud Cabbage, annoying Lloyd, but he hides his irritation. Later, Finn explains that Lloyd is from a powerful family at the Bureau of Magic, and that opposing him can lead to expulsion. After school, Mash, busy making cream puffs, misses his meeting with Lloyd. The next day, Lloyd approaches Mash, upset about the missed meeting, but offers to help Mash become the Divine Visionary in exchange for performing various tasks for him. Mash eagerly agrees and ends up running errands and performing menial tasks for Lloyd. In class, Mash finds another textbook damaged and asks Finn to borrow his. Finn agrees and Mash thanks him with cream puffs. Lloyd spills water on the floor and orders Mash to clean it up. He then demands Finn burn Mash's clothes. Finn refuses, and Lloyd uses magic to force Finn to bow and injure himself. Mash, discovering Finn's injuries and the bullying, confronts Lloyd, slamming him into the floor and demanding an apology. Finn warns Mash that this could lead to expulsion. Vice Principal Farman Kregos arrives and confirms Mash's offense, announcing a school conference to discuss it. Frustrated with Farman's attitude, Mash attacks him, kneeing him in the face and sticking dirt to his face. Mash then buries Farman, ignoring his protests. Wahlberg intervenes, explaining that Mash has been issued an expulsion notice, but burns it. He sees potential in Mash and encourages him to become the top student and achieve the title of Divine Visionary. Later, Mash gains recognition for his actions and is approached by Tom Knowles, the previous year's Duello MVP. Tom offers Mash a spot in an upcoming match. On match day, Mash's lack of broom riding skills leads to boos from the crowd, who mistakenly believe he is sabotaging the game. During the Duello match, Mash stands still, unable to fly. Tom explains that Duello involves controlling a ball midair and passing it through a ring using only broom skills, not magic. Tom, who recruited Mash for his hopes in the game, is soon injured when another player crashes into him. With Langdorm leading Adlerdorm 40 points to none, Tom emphasizes that giving their best effort is key. Langdorm's lead widens to 50 points with a numerical advantage of 6 players to Adlerdorm's 4. Frustrated, Mash grabs his broom and surprises everyone by floating through the air using his legs. He requests the ball and makes a powerful throw from a long distance, scoring a point. Mash continues scoring repeatedly, reaching 999 points, while Langdorm only has 60. Adlerdorm wins and Mash's team is awarded silver coins. After the game, Tom praises Mash for his strength and determination. The next day, Tom arrives to pick up Mash for Duello practice, but Lemon also wants to study with Mash. Mash, uninterested, seeks Finn's help, but Finn pretends to be asleep. Lance Crown, a top student, offers to join them, but traps Tom, Lemon, and Finn in a magical bottle, demanding Mash meet him at the owl hut in the forest to free them. Meeting Lance, Mash is surprised to learn Lance has 2 silver coins, a rarity among upperclassmen. Lance, using his rare double-line magic, proposes a bet. If Mash wins, he gets the coins. If he loses, Lance keeps them. Lance doubts Mash's ability to win, believing his focus on friends makes him weak. Mash agrees, and Lance uses his magic, Graviole, to pin Mash down. Despite Lance's advantage, Mash punches the ground, causing roots to sprout and forcing Lance to retreat. During the fight, Mash accidentally knocks off Lance's pendant, revealing a picture of a young girl. Mash returns the pendant. Lance reveals his sister is the most important thing to him. He plans to drop the bottle from a cliff, using his magic to accelerate its fall while attacking Mash. Lance recalls his sister's terminal illness and his desire to become a divine visionary to reform the corrupt system and save her. As Lance drops the bottle and speeds its fall with Graviole, Mash uses a physical strength trick, Big Bang Dash, to quickly retrieve the bottle. Lance, astonished, questions if Mash is using physical enhancement magic. Mash reveals that the bottle was fake and finds the real one on Lance. He criticizes Lance's irrational decisions and, reflecting on his sister's advice, Lance agrees to end the conflict. Lance gives Mash a silver coin, fulfilling their bet. Mash releases Tom, Lemon, and Finn. At Easton Magic Academy, students are assigned to dorms based on their traits. Adler Dorm is for those with courage and conviction. Orca Dorm is for the wise and eager to learn. And Lang Dorm for the talented and ambitious. Mash and Finn from Adler Dorm discuss their silver coins. Mash mistakenly believes he needs 28 silver coins for a gold coin, but Finn corrects him to just 3 more. Finn panics when they realize their potions assignment is overdue. Lance arrives, scolding them for their negligence in tarnishing the dorm's reputation. Lance then helps them with their assignment, demonstrating how to calm a mandragora for use as a potion ingredient. Finn struggles but manages to calm his mandragora, while Mash's mandragora grows larger and attacks him. Mash manages to subdue it by slapping it into submission. Lance explains how to process the mandragoras into a potion compound, but Mash ends up making a cream puff instead. Lance, baffled and annoyed, demands that Mash try again. Meanwhile, a red-haired boy jumps into some students who immediately start a fight with him. He defeats them effortlessly. The next day, students gather in the forest for an exercise to exterminate forest scorpions. They must bring back bronze stones from the scorpions' foreheads and silver stones from the few strong ones with square stones. Silva Iron from Lang mocks Mash and attacks him. Mash, more concerned about his cream puff being crushed in his pocket, is initially angry. Lance explains that Silva, known for his misconduct and injuries to students and a teacher, is notorious, but hasn't been expelled due to his magical abilities. Mash encounters Dot, who is determined to prove himself superior. Dot is shocked by Mash's presence and is slapped by him, leading to a confrontation. Dot hears a girl scream and rushes to her aid. Lauren is being attacked by another student. Dot uses his X-Plom spell to defeat the attacker and helps Lauren, who thanks him and makes Dot blush. Lauren, intrigued, comments on Dot's reaction and tries to charm Mash with her magic, but fails. She reveals that Silva has been threatening and stalking her, prompting Dot to confront Silva. Silva arrives, mocking Dot and asserting his superiority. He hits Dot, belittling his skills, and a stray rock from Silva's attack knocks Mash's cream puff from his hand. Dot is stunned by Silva's strength and struggles to find a way to save Lauren. Silva offers them a challenge. If they endure 5 hits from his magic, he'll leave Lauren alone and bet a silver coin. Dot agrees, thinking 5 hits are manageable, but Silva insists Mash must also endure 5 hits. Dot argues that Mash is uninvolved, but Silva dismisses this. Dot then suggests he'll take Mash's hits as well. Silva uses Iron Fist, and the force causes Dot to spit blood, yet he remains standing. He endures 9 hits, driven by Lauren's tears. Impressed, Silva prepares a final, more powerful hit. Dot withstands this 10th blow as well. However, he collapses, asking Mash to take Lauren and escape. Silva mocks Dot and hits him again. Lauren sides with Silva, calling Dot an idiot and expressing her disdain. While they laugh, Mash throws a cream puff at Silva to silence him, declaring it's now his turn for the 10-hit challenge. Elsewhere, after defeating a scorpion, Lance wonders about Mash's fate. Finn and Lemon are confident, but Lance explains that while Mash has faced white mages who excel in support magic, reg mages, especially those beyond their first year, are much tougher and often double-liners. In the confrontation, Silva, who despises hypocrites, picks up Dot to slam him for ruining his clothes. As Mash charges to intervene, Silva erects an iron wall to block him. Silva, boasting about winning 2 gold coins in his first year, attacks Mash with Iron Fist magic. After several hits, Mash prepares Triceps Magic Ballista Knuckle, a trick Silva has never seen. Despite Silva's attacks, Mash breaks through his iron pillars and lands a punch, infuriating Silva. Silva retaliates, but Mash breaks through his magic attack and delivers a gut punch. Silva falls, unable to continue, and Mash steps back, stating he's delivered only 2 of the 10 hits Silva must endure. Mash approaches Silva and asks if he's ready for the 3rd hit. Silva, fearing for his life, spots a scorpion with a star-shaped stone worth more than a silver coin and hopes to escape while Mash fights it. Mash, however, dispatches the scorpion effortlessly, telling Silva he's busy. Feeling pity for Silva, Mash offers to end the fight. Lauren, who didn't expect Silva to lose, starts crying and claims Silva forced her. Mash hugs her, making her think her charms worked, then attacks her, noting he treats everyone equally. Later, Mash reunites with Lance and the others, who are impressed by his victory over Silva and the star-shaped scorpion, worth 2 silver coins. Dot, beaten but excited, thanks Mash and apologizes for involving him. Mash remarks that Dot's apology is out of character, angering Dot, who's embarrassed. Lance explains that Langdorm is targeting Adler Dorm to seize their coins, and that a conflict between them and Lang's elite, Magia Lupus, is brewing. With 5 silver coins, Mash's collection turns into 1 gold coin. Mash, confused about the dorm system, recalls being sorted by a skeleton unicorn that assigned him to Adler after reading his thoughts. The unicorn, confident in its abilities, was surprised to find Mash thinking only of cream puffs, leading to his assignment. Lance warns Mash to stay away from Langdorm and stick to his dorm mates. The next day, Mash heads to his class but faces a door, unsure whether to pull or push. Meanwhile, Silva apologizes to Lord Abel, who clarifies that Silva's failure to retrieve a coin means he was never given a real chance. Abel explains that rulers must have noble blood and exceptional talent. Silva's failure to meet those criteria results in him being turned into a doll. Mash, entering the room, wonders if Abel realizes he's speaking to a doll. Abel confronts Mash about his ambition to become a divine visionary. Mash explains that he wants to live peacefully with his family. Abel, however, argues that divine visionaries are meant to be divine artisans with certain qualities that Mash lacks. Abel reveals his plan to restore a world where the strong dominate the weak. Mash realizes that Abel is seeking his own version of peace, but is misinterpreted by Abel as being hostile. Mash apologizes, clarifying that wasn't his intention. Abel offers to let Mash go if he hands over his gold coin, but Mash refuses. Abel then attacks Mash using Silva's puppet. Mash destroys the puppet, freeing Silva, but a larger puppet then grabs Mash, taking his gold coin, and throws it to Abel. Mash prioritizes taking Silva to the nurse's office over retrieving the coin. Abel discovers that the coin is actually a missing button from his puppet. An onlooker witnesses Mash ripping the puppet's button with his mouth and spitting it with such speed that it intercepts the gold coin midair. Mash then uses his breath to pull the coin back into his possession. Silva then wakes up in the nurse's office with no memory of events after becoming a doll. He sees Mash exercising and wonders why Mash helped him. Mash explains that when one of them is in trouble, they all are, then leaves. Lance and Dot are in Finn's room. Finn wants them to leave. As they begin to argue, Mash intervenes and tells them to take their fight outside. Lemon arrives with urgent news and leads them to the magic scale, which shows that Langdorm has amassed 15 gold coins, while the other 2 dorms each have only 1. Langdorm has been taking coins from other dorms, and with Adler's upperclassmen away on internships, no one can stop them. If this continues, Langdorm will likely produce the next divine visionary. Orca Dorm is preoccupied with research, leaving only Adler to challenge Langdorm. Mash, Lance, and Dot agree to take on the task. Wahlberg punishes Mash with a week of cleaning the owl hut. 2 Magia Lupus members, Awry and Answer, attack Mash and Lance. Awry creates a small sea area to trap Mash, while Answer throws shurikens at Lance. Mash struggles with swimming but eventually defeats Awry, who transforms into a shark. Lance protects the owls and defeats Answer using his gravity magic. Abyss Razor arrives to retrieve his allies and warns them that they'll meet again. He notices Mash's impressive speed and realizes Mash is similar to him. Magma Master from Orca Dorm faces Abyss Razor. Abyss defeats him effortlessly and takes his gold coin. As Mash is making cream puffs, Lance explains that Magia Lupus has strong members and they can't afford to wait to be attacked. However, the school hides the locations of the dorms to encourage competition, so they first need to find the dorm locations and then collect their gold coins. Lance notices that Mash seems distracted as he's busy making cream puffs, but Mash confirms that he is listening. Just then, Lemon rushes in, announcing that there's a problem with Tom. Lemon leads Mash, Lance, and the others to the infirmary, where Tom looks weak and disoriented. Tom can't recall what happened but woke up in the infirmary with no memory of recent events. He doesn't usually dream, but had a nightmare of being trapped in a dark box. Though he feels okay, he's drained of magical energy and unable to use magic. Lance notices that other students there have also lost their magic temporarily. Lemon gives Mash a lucky charm named Creamy and insists he keep it with him at all times. Later that evening, Mash and Lance explore the darkened school, joined by Dot, who wants gold coins, and Finn, who is afraid of being alone. They spot Lemon walking around and realize she is actually a puppet. They follow her to a dead end, where Finn and Dot hear wood cracking and become scared. Lance uses disclose to reveal a hidden door on the ground. Dot tries to open it with his magic but fails. Mash then uses a knight's armor and sword to leverage the door open. Beyond the door, they enter an arena where a boy from Langdorm appears. The boy explains that the arena is used for duels and that he's there at Third Fang's request to handle intruders. To proceed, they must wager coins and challenge him. Dot steps up, eager to fight him. Dot asks if he has a fan club, leading to a jealous rant from Dot. The boy attacks Dot with his rose whip, but Dot counters with Explom Bomb, setting explosive traps. The boy avoids the traps initially, but is eventually caught off guard when the bombs explode, freeing Dot. After their victory, the group begins to sink into the ground and is separated into different rooms. Lance faces Worth Model, the Third Fang. Dot and Finn encounter Love Cute and Milo Genius, the Fifth and Fourth Fangs. And Mash meets Abyss Razor, the Second Fang, who admires Mash's speed and prepares for a fight. Lance immediately attacks Worth using Graviole. Worth quickly escapes into the ground using his mud magic and emerges, creating multiple mud copies of himself. Lance destroys the copies with his gravity magic but struggles to affect Worth, who then traps Lance's legs with Burst, immobilizing him before launching an attack. Worth offers Lance a place in the lower ranks of Magia Lupus, suggesting that staying with Adler will keep him insignificant. Lance rejects the offer, deeming Worth second-rate. He then uses Graviole sideways, but Worth anticipates the move, having cushioned the surroundings with mud to absorb shocks. Lance adapts by shooting rubble at the walls, forcing Worth to reveal himself to avoid being hit. Surprised by Lance's strategy, Worth boosts his power with a potion of concentrated magical essence taken from other students. His magic spikes as he summons a mud demon with Mudoros Seconth Mudoro Devilus, a high-tier magic reserved for double-liners. Worth boasts about his superiority and dismisses Lance's potential. Lance dodges Worth's attacks and uses Graviole Seconth Torture Pole, summoning pillars that exert strong gravitational pulls on the demon. The pillars tear the demon apart, defeating Worth. Worth reflects on his father's harsh judgments and feels unworthy. Lance finds a book on the ground, probably Worth's, and questions what truly gives someone worth. He respects Worth's effort despite their differences and leaves. Meanwhile, Mash faces Abyss, who is too fast for him using accelerators. Abyss lands several cuts and reveals a device containing Lemon, which drains her magic. He threatens that Lemon will lose all her magic in 30 minutes. Mash, undeterred, prepares to fight. Abyss uses Accelerate's Sphere to attack from multiple angles, eventually stabbing Mash. Mash manages to hold the sword with his abdominal muscles and counterattacks, headbutting Abyss and breaking his mask. Abyss reveals his red eye, the evil eye, which temporarily disables magic. He explains his lifelong fear and scorn due to the eye. Mash sympathizes but continues to fight. Abyss uses Accelerate's Seconth Force Field, slowing Mash and boosting his own speed. Despite the field, Mash splits the floor to limit Abyss's movement and breaks his sword. Mash then uses full muscle magic, Hurricane Rush, to punch Abyss out of the force field and defeat him. Abyss reflects on his past, feeling like a tool and questioning his existence. Mash acknowledges Abyss's struggle but remains resolute in his mission. He thanks Abyss for the warning and insists on confronting Abel, stating that his attitude will not change. Mash leaves. As Mash and Lance defeat their opponents and rush to aid Lemon, Dot and Finn face off against Love, the Fifth Fang, and Milo, the Fourth Fang. Love questions Finn and Dot about her cuteness, wanting their approval. Dot, who is fond of such girls, apologizes, explaining that he is engaged to Lemon and cannot marry her. Hurt by Dot's rejection, Love drops her playful facade and attacks with Tornagus. Dot counters with his Explom, managing to block her magic. Love rants about how all the girls should be adored and served, and those who fail to do so deserve death. Love questions Dot again about her appeal, and despite his repeated refusal, she strikes him with her magic, declaring that her father told her she could kill anyone who doesn't cherish her. Dot, trapped in a tornado created by Tornagus' cage, struggles in pain but recalls his past. He remembers his sister, standing up for him against bullies and advising him to fight for true friends. This memory fuels his resolve. With renewed determination, Dot's magical power surges. He unleashes Machine Gun Explom, intentionally missing but warning Love to leave before he changes his mind. Love, touched by his restraint, thanks him. Suddenly, a stone head emerges from the ground, attacking Finn. Dot sacrifices himself to stop it. Milo, displeased with Love's failure, arrives and creates massive stone hands to attack Dot and Finn. As Milo readies his assault, a large sword flies in and strikes Milo, revealing the divine visionary Rain Ames. Rain swiftly overpowers Milo with his sword magic. Milo, defeated, begs for forgiveness, regretting his past choices. Rain responds with physical punishment, believing actions speak louder than words. He instructs Dot and the others to leave, promising to get details from Milo. Dot is astonished to learn that Rain is Finn's brother. Rain then investigates Mash, sensing a strange aura but realizing it's not magic. He tests Mash with the arachnobus, a creature that measures true magical power. Mash captures Rain's sword with 2 fingers, and the arachnobus reads 0 magical power. Rain, intrigued, continues testing Mash with increasingly powerful spells. Mash dodges all attacks and even uses the swords to make a chair. Rain realizes Mash is not using magic and is not an innocent 0 pawn. He apologizes for his earlier behavior and offers Mash a healing kerchief. Rain deduces that Mash is aiming to confront Abel and become a divine visionary. He advises Mash to become a strong ally, even if it risks his life. Rain leaves, reflecting on Wahlberg's words about Mash's unique abilities and his dedication to friends. Mash approaches a door and, unsure whether to push or pull, ends up knocking it down, as usual. Abel, inside, questions whether Mash needs to destroy every door he enters. Mash apologizes, saying he tried to knock but ended up causing more damage. Abel is shocked by Mash's abilities, realizing Mash surpasses his expectations for defeating Abyss's evil eye. Abel's disdain extends to those without magic, believing they are inherently inferior and do not deserve kindness from the strong. Abel's plans include eliminating both the powerless and those who defend them. Mash, having been raised by Regro, firmly rejects Abel's ideology, declaring they can't be friends. Abel attacks Mash, who manages to fend off a series of acidic dolls by smashing them together. Abel, focusing solely on magical power, reveals his indifference to individuals and summons 3 clown dolls, which Mash destroys with a single punch. Abel threatens to harm Finn, who has been transformed into a puppet if Mash attacks. Mash, enduring the puppet's attacks, retrieves his gold coins and cuts Finn's strings, freeing him. Abel, furious, unleashes his strongest spell, Marionette Seconth, Harm Puppet, creating a massive doll that turns anything it touches into puppets. Mash tears through the strings and dismantles the Harm Puppet, astounding Love with his quick reflexes. Defeating Abel, Mash demands Lemon's location. Abel, reflecting on his mother's kindness and her death at the hands of those who resented her, acknowledges Mash's strength and agrees to release the students he turned into puppets. Using Marionette's liberation, Abel frees Lemon, who, along with Finn, thanks Mash. Dot joins them in their celebration, although they wonder about Lance's whereabouts. Meanwhile, Rain confronts a man he suspects is an innocent 0 operative. The man, disguised as a student, reveals he was searching for something Abel failed to find. As the man prepares to kill Abel, Rain intervenes but is blocked by a large knife. Jean-Pierre, a serial killer and cannibal, introduces himself as Rain's new opponent. Meanwhile, Regro and Brad discuss their anxieties about Mash's lack of magical ability. Regro fears discovery, while Brad worries about the consequences if Mash fails to become a divine visionary. Meanwhile, Abel and Love watch the celebration, puzzled by its duration. Mash steps away to use the bathroom, and Cell War, an innocent 0 operative, arrives. He pushes aside Lemon, Finn, and Dot to confront Abel, who is injured. Cell War mocks Abel for his failure and, using his magic, forces Abel to strangle himself, declaring him unnecessary. Mash returns with cream puffs, but a fly lands on his nose, causing him to sneeze and accidentally throw some cream puffs at Cell War. Confused, Mash asks for the cream puffs back, but Cell War dismisses them and realizes Mash is the person they've been searching for. Before dealing with Mash, however, Cell War decides to finish off Abel. He conjures a massive spiked ball, but Abyss leaps in to take the hit, apologizing to Mash for not sharing the cream puffs. Moved by Abyss's sacrifice, Mash offers his magical handkerchief. Cell War is shocked that Abyss is still alive, noting Mash's rock disrupted his attack. Cell War unleashes Carbo Rain, sharp carbon spikes targeting Mash and Abel. Mash defends himself by shattering the spikes, but Abel doubts Mash's chances and criticizes Abyss. Mash reflects on Abyss's noble sacrifice and resolves to save him. Abel recalls his mother's lesson on understanding others and acknowledges the nobility in both Abyss and his mother. As Cell War intensifies the attack with carbo-heavy rain, Dot notices Mash is inching closer but can't assist without leaving Lemon and Finn vulnerable. Abel uses his doll to block the attack, asserting that both strong and weak have their rights. Though the doll is destroyed, Mash emerges from its remnants and lands a punch on Cell War. Despite Cell's carbon layer absorbing the hit, Mash is the first to breach it. Cell War introduces the Spell Flexion Mirror, which reflects spells. Dot warns Mash, but Mash kicks and shatters the mirror, revealing his lack of magic. Cell War is intrigued by Mash's abilities, and as a tear in space appears, he is grabbed by enormous hands. He warns Mash that they will meet again before leaving. Mash's friends, impressed but worried about the consequences if his secret is exposed, agree to protect it. A captured student threatens to reveal Mash's secret, but Mash remains calm and eats a cream puff. Back with Innocent Zero, Cell War reports success, and Innocent Zero instructs him to retrieve what was lost.